And Aborn of Siren, welcome to 69 Faces of Rock. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Mark. Thank you so much for having me.
Excellent. Let's begin with what's new with Siren.
Well, obviously right here, we're at the beautiful Madison, Wisconsin, ready to play Blades of Steel. Tomorrow night is our set, and we can't be more excited. We're just a little band from Brandon, Florida, and to be invited to something like this is just amazing.
On a sadder note, about 2 months ago, you've lost your bass player, Gregg Culbertson.
Yeah.
How are you dealing with this loss?
You know, it's how do you deal with anyone's loss, especially when it's a friend you've been like a family member with for 40 years. And Gregg was such a sweet, sweet guy. I loved him. We all loved him. He wore his heart on his sleeve. He was just the most genuine, caring, kind person. And we knew that he had been having some health issues over the past couple years, but none of us, it wasn't expected to be serious. And then it just, over a weekend, I had been in touch with his beautiful wife, Barbara, and just one day she texted me and said that he passed away. It was heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm. Gregg was certainly one of a kind character. He was a funny guy, even going back to the documentary. What are some memories that you have of him?
Oh, geez.
And I'm sure there are many.
Yeah, there are many. Especially, it's funny because Gregg has always been like, if you've seen the documentary film, that was I call "I'm Too Old for This Shit."
Yeah.
A heavy metal fairy tale. He is the heart of that film, and that was because he was he was like a man child almost. He was so kind, and you connect with him, and he just put it out there. So it's funny, like some of the things on that trip was just literally him getting lost wherever we go. I was in charge of keeping track of him. His wife, before we got on the plane, she was like, "Please don't lose him." And so I promised her that I wouldn't. But he wandered off the night we were supposed to leave, and it was like 4 a.m, and I'm freaking out because I'm like, okay, I've lost him the last night we're supposed to catch a plane. But between that and just, when you're younger, then it's a little crazier. He would be. He enjoyed a good beer. I'll just say that, and he enjoyed a few good beers. So yeah, he was just an amazing and talented. No matter how much he did enjoy himself, he would be able to play perfectly, whether it was in the studio or live, and just he was like a brother. He was just so much
Natural talent.
Yeah, so great just to be around.
So when such loss occurs, it definitely puts things in perspective.
Yeah.
In some way, it feels like a sign. Did you consider calling it a day because of that at all?
We did this, he passed away very recently, so we were already scheduled to play, although he was not scheduled to play with us because we knew his health would not allow that. It had been, a couple years since he was having some issues. So although he was a member of the band, our bass player who is with us now, Ryan Tatum, we knew he was on board to come up here. And with Gregg's passing now, we kind of look at this as almost an honorarium for Gregg, is just knowing that, he will be with us on stage, even though he's not on stage holding a bass.
Yeah. So what are the plans from this point on?
Right now, we're just kind of flexible. We're definitely open to any other festivals, shows that want to have us. We love coming out and playing things like this. We got a couple local things planned with a couple promoters who are down in the Tampa Bay area who like to put together festivals. We played one called the Bay Area Hard Rock Festival back in March with Oblivion and Midnight Vice, who's another great young band. Just saw the band Void get off the stage. Love seeing these young bands who are out here doing the metal that we love. It's like looking into a time machine and seeing yourself when you're younger. And so we've got some of those things. Nothing big. We might start doing a little recording again. It's been a couple years since our last album. So
that's right. Your last record, Mercenaries Fate, that came out in 2022.
Yep.
How did the album do for you?
It did very well. I mean, like anything, we realize we're not a million selling band, but for the label, pretty much it sold out of their runs of the vinyls and I think possibly even the CDs. Mm-hmm. So it was successful from that standpoint, what the label the runs that the label did, and we are super proud of it. It's probably, every band says this, but this is the album that we've been together now longer than any iteration of Siren.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about this last night, where it's been 8 years since we reformed, and so we're writing the best material that we've done, and we produced this and had it mixed with our friend Jim Morris at Morris Sound Studios, which is legendary. So it sounds great. We're proud of it, and we couldn't be happier with that last album.
Do you generally find the fans responding positive to new albums, or they prefer the old classic stuff more?
It's an interesting mix. We do get very positive reception from our new music, and it depends on also the festival, because some festivals are very old school and they want to see the stuff they were familiar with back in the 80s from our first couple albums. But we try to temper that with the new. So for example, our set tomorrow night, we're packing it full. We only have 40 minutes, so literally we've got like 39 minutes of solid music, and that spans the whole catalog from our debut single in 1984 all the way through to the new album.
You mentioned there's a possibility of you recording again. So is there any new music being written?
Yep, our guitarists, Hal Dunn and Todd Grubbs, have been throwing some riff ideas back and forth with each other. So that's how the process starts, is usually they'll start working up some riffs, and then we all kind of get together and listen to those and say, this would be cool, this would be cool. Start to work out arrangements, and then once the songs are arranged, Doug and the rest of the band start to work on lyrics. So yeah, we are definitely, when you love it, you do it. And we've been, we're doing it still because it's fun. No dreams of fame, no dreams of fortune. It's all about do it because we're alive and we can.
And what direction is the music taking?
Very similar to our other traditional melodic metal, very much in the style of our influences, Priest, Maiden, Accept, Saxon, that kind of, we're not thrash, we're just a good hard rock, heavy metal band with melodies, leads. So that's pretty much the same style. We'll just keep that. We're taking no big departures. I mean, when you hear Siren, especially with Doug Lee's voice being the connecting thread throughout our entire catalog, you hear it, it's Siren. So whether it's 1984 or it's 2026, when you hear a Siren song, it's like, oh, that's Doug Lee, that's Siren, and the music is the same.
How does a band like Siren operate? What needs to be in place in order for you to function?
Well, at this point, obviously, we're, computers run the world, so it's we stay in communication constantly. We are located in the same area, so unlike some bands who are more spread out, we do get together. We can get together. Todd, our lead guitarist, has a music school, so we have a built-in rehearsal space and performance space. Sometimes we can get together for writing, for refining songs, arranging songs. So usually it's a very organic process. We keep in touch. We get together several times, especially if we're preparing for something like this, and either write or rehearse. And it's just we're in constant communication.
And how do you balance, all of you are a little bit older now, you have jobs, commitments, responsibilities. How do you balance that with a band that plays music?
Well, thankfully we're not on tour. Like we don't go out on the road and spend 2 months out of the year on the road. At this point in life, just because of our schedules and commitments, as you say, that would be prohibitive, especially for no money. And and also as the title of the movie, I'm too old for this shit. We are too old to be riding around in a van, around the country all together. But really, it's we all have our jobs, we all have our families, our hobbies and interests, and this is one of them. This is a major one that we all share, is the love of making music and the love of performing when we can. So it's actually quite an easy balance to do. We don't have to be like, oh, I got to go rehearse, or oh, now I got to take 4 days and go up to Wisconsin. It's like, no, I get to go to Wisconsin and play Blades of Steel. So yeah, it's actually very easy.
Your documentary, which you mentioned a few times already, it was quite impressive. What would you say was the most surprising response?
Let's see. It's amazing to us just that so many people have seen it. When it was released for free, it had over like 170,000 views, like out of the gate, I think, and that's just incredible for us to think that many people are seeing the story of our unexpected reunion and our journey to, pull everything back together after 30 years of not having been together and perform in front of thousands of people, because literally it's not what we do. And the movie is not about Siren, the band, because no one needs to see that story. It's about what happens when you get the chance to live a dream for just a moment, unexpectedly. It's like if you pitched high school baseball and all of a sudden you're an accountant 30 years later, and the New York Yankees say, hey, we need you to come up and pitch an inning in the World Series. So that's really what it was, and it was just an amazing experience, and people have really connected with it. So many of the comments are, dude, I was in a band in the 80s. I remember what that was like. It must have been so incredible. This makes me want to go pick up my guitar again. And I'm like, listen, if you love it, if the music's in you, go do it. And that's what really came out of that. And that connection with the people who've seen it is what I love.
On my end, when I watched that on TV, my wife happened to walk in the room and she sat down and started watching it, and she's completely not into this type of music at all. But she found it interesting and passionate. So right there.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's not about Siren as a band. It's not about the music of Siren at all. It's about that experience of being able to be gifted with the chance to live your dream for a moment. And I specifically remember that moment for me playing Dead of Night, a song from a 1986 demo, and just seeing thousands of people out in the audience singing Dead of Night, screaming and raising their fists, and I'm playing drums, and I said to myself, because I want to remember that moment, it's like, this is why you wrote that song when you were 18 years old. It's to have this moment, and that moment happened when you were 52 years old, but it happened, and remember it and enjoy this particular moment, and I do. And that's the thing, the movie captured what it feels like to be able to have the chance to live your dream, even if it's crazy, even if you don't know if you can do it, because that's what the producer, Chris Jericho, my friend, said when I told him we were getting together to do this. He's like, this doesn't happen, man. He goes, what would you think if I sent a documentary crew with you? And I'm like, we're going to live it. So that would be fantastic. If nothing else, we'll have a great home movie. But he said, listen, whether it's a triumph or a tragedy, it's a story that I want to see. And I'm like, absolutely. Thankfully, it was not a tragedy. So.
No, far from it. And what's it like to be able to still do it 4 decades later?
And this ties into what we talked about, Greg. It's a gift. It's amazing. The fact that we're all in our 60s and being able to do this, to be here tonight with, crowd, the band's young and old, the crowd young and old, just to be able to do something you love at a later point in your life when you started so young, it's a gift. That's all I can say. And we're all super grateful that we have the chance to do it.
Finally, what's next for you?
Like I said, I think we're just going to keep on doing what we do while we enjoy it. And we're enjoying making music together. We're enjoying being together. This trip, a lot of bands, truth be told, they don't like each other, and you throw them in a van, you throw them in a plane, and it's just like this. But I can legitimately say the 5 of us are friends, true friends, and we have had an amazing time for the past 2 days here, just hanging out, doing things, enjoying this area, and we're just going to keep doing it, making music, as long as 1, we can, and 2, there's someone out there to listen to it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.